Steve Stone here. On May 6th of 1998, the Cubs' Kerry Wood threw what is highly regarded as the greatest pitched baseball game in Major League history. I have a story to share about a piece of memorabilia that has provenance to this historic game and also has ties to Cubs lore. And I want to send it over to my partner, Harry. All right, let me hear you. A one, a two. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's one, two, three strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs! On May 6, 1998, Cubs rookie pitcher from Irving, Texas, making only his fifth major league start.
Kerry Wood going to the mound in search of his third victory. You look at the ERA, way up there at 5.89, but when he's been good, he's been very good, as the 25 strikeouts in 18 and a third innings would attest.
Pitched what is objectively considered by sabermetrics godfather Bill James and others with a game score of 105, no other higher, the greatest pitching performance in the history of Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, I didn't have the privilege to be part of the 15,758 in attendance at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field on that historic, glorious spring afternoon. I would get my opportunity 3 months later, August 22nd, 1998. This is where my story begins. Oh, by the way, $12 for a bleacher seat. Good luck in getting that price these days. I had just turned 31, and I was in the midst of my 11-year tradition dating back to 1988 of making the annual pilgrimage from St. Paul, Minnesota to Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois, getting as far away from the Metrodome as I could, where I could watch baseball on real grass in the great outdoors the way God intended. It was a mission of mine. My friend Doug and I, we were walking across Sheffield Avenue after leaving Murphy's bleachers towards the Wrigley Field bleacher entrance, where we wanted to get in line as soon as possible because the tickets are general admission in the bleacher section, and we wanted to snag the best seats that we could. That's when I noticed a fan in his mid-30s or so in a Cubs jersey, wearing a backpack over one shoulder and holding up posters with his chiseled arms. And I noticed that it was featuring the K logo that I had instantly recognized from Kerry Wood's remarkable 20K performance against those very Astros that I witnessed on Superstation WGN a few months prior. First pitch was still over an hour away, so Doug and I approached the poster-waving Cub fan. I smiled and said, "Those are the K signs that I saw on TV during Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game," for which he proudly announced that he was also the person who designed and created them, and he was selling them for $1. So, of course, Doug and I each had to buy one. We thanked him and introduced ourselves, and we told him that we lived in the Twin Cities, and like many people outside of Illinois, had become Cubs fans thanks to watching Superstation WGN. His name was Tom, and that he and 20 fans he recruited to hold up the K signs had a blast that day. It was clear to me that those K signs had a special place in Cubs Wrigley Field lore. It has to be noted that Tom had amazingly brought 16 signs with him, but he was still 4 short, so numbers 18 through 20 had to be painted onto the chest of the last 4 fans that were willing to join in on the fun. Tom explained he had made the posters as a tribute to Kerry's historic day, and the K signs that he and his crew of friends, bleacher creatures, had so much fun being part of the experience inside Wrigley, and also in retrospect being part of the WGN broadcast and production value. For example, getting shouted out over the airwaves by Cubs announcers Kerry and Steve Stone. If memory serves me correctly, because it was 27 years ago, Tom also told me that he was able to get special access to the Astro players that were in the lineup that day and had them each sign the poster under their names in the box score. I saw it with my own eyes. It was amazing. Now, this was pre-camera phone, and unfortunately, I have no pictures. I wish I did. Captivated by Tom and his story, I asked where he normally sat in the bleachers and if it'd be okay to save a seat for him. He said that would be great. Just look for him inside. Before continuing the story, let's take a deeper dive into the magic of the poster that Tom had designed, and show some actual game clips. Well, here's the fabulous poster. It was rolled up for 25 years, and I broke it out, wanted to do a video on it. So for display purposes, I bought this real cheap frame. It's not frame Minnesota quality that I featured in other videos, but I just wanted something to keep it flat and keep it spread out. Perhaps at this point, since it is now in a frame, I will find some space on my wall, which isn't easy to accomplish either, as I have it pretty full, but this is a special piece. And let's talk about some of the features of this glorious poster. First of all, in baseball parlances, this was a big intra-division series because when the 98 regular season ended, both the Cubs and Astros actually made the playoffs. The Astros winning the division and the Cubs as the wild card, but got swept by the Braves and the Astros lost to the Padres. Credit goes to the WGN broadcast team of Chip Kerry and Steve Stone and the production crew in the truck, as their attention to Tom's crew in the bleachers really brought attention to what Tom's K crew was doing in the left field bleachers, really making it go viral before viral was a thing back in 98.
The all-time record.
He's 1 strike away.
How about swinging at a curveball that lands 2 feet in front of home plate?
Pretty obvious after seeing that clip why Tom appropriately titled his poster 20 Dark Ones. Oh, by the way, I just want to explain in case you may be wondering what is that pointer that commenting collector is utilizing. Well, actually, dug this out of my collection. If we can see on the label, oh, it's backwards. Let me flip that around. You can see on the label, it actually says, well, first of all, it's a Louisville Slugger, which is pretty darn cool. Yeah. It's not going to really, there it is. But the inscription is what's neat. Again, if I can focus it. It says Minnesota Twins 1970 World Series. Now, if you're paying attention and you know your baseball history, the Minnesota Twins did not represent the American League in the 1970 World Series. That honor, of course, went to the Baltimore Orioles. However, I can understand in the marketing and novelty sales that the clubs want to get out to their fans. They can't really wait until these things are produced or until after the results happen and then produce them, because then it would be too late. So they get these babies um, created and produced before the game's actually played. And unfortunately for Twins fans, they did not make it to the World Series, but the bat did, however, get into the public. So I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, that's what I'm using for my pointer. But back to the poster, you can see that number 34, that's of course the jersey number that Kerry Wood has. And what's great about that number, it's such an iconic sports jersey number in all of sports, actually. Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal wore number 34. Kirby Puckett, for example. Kirby Puckett, he donned the 34. A lot of other, pretty cool how Tom incorporated the 34 right into the box score like that. So Kerry Wood started off hot, striking out the first 5. Biggio, Bell, Killer Bees right there. They all go down. And then Jack Howell, one of the 2 left-hand hitters in the lineup, and Moises Alou. So what's neat is that Tom shows, and hopefully you can pick this up, the dark black ball, because it's the dark one, shows the pitch location. So Derek Bell goes down swinging, outer bottom corner. Jeff Bagwell gets caught looking as Kerry Wood paints the outside black because the backward K signifies that the batter didn't swing. So, yeah, pretty neat way that Tom basically creates the box score record just by using symbols. So the Cubs scored an unearned run in the second, and that's all they would need. There were only 15,758 fans in attendance because it was a Wednesday afternoon. School is still in session. There was a chance for storms, so that kept the attendance reasonably low. Now you might think that everyone was at that game, but in reality, there wasn't that many people there. However, 20 of them would eventually be needed to display Tom's K's. Top of the third, the Astros muster their only hit. It was a weak grounder between third and short by Ricky Gutierrez. And it went off the glove of Kevin Ory, unfortunately, because it could have easily been called an error. Should have been called an error.
Would love a nice long outing for him. To the left side, off Ory's glove into left field for a base hit.
Well, that was the first break.
And that, of course, as Murphy's Law would have it, would end up being the only hit, the only spoiler in that would have been a no-hit game by Kerry Wood. Nonetheless, it turned out to be a historic game, and we'll get to the reasons for that later. So through 3 innings, actually Shane Reynolds had 7 strikeouts to Kerry Wood's 6. Kerry Wood strikes out left-hand hitting Jack Howell looking to end the 4th. And that was the first appearance of Tom's K Crew on the TV broadcast.
Be about twice the size as the other.
Strike 3 called. A laser beam on the outer half. He struck out 8. After 3.5, Kerry Wood ringing up the Astros and leading 1-0.
Through 4 innings, both pitchers had 8 strikeouts respectively. The top of the fifth, Wood strikes out left-hand hitting Dave Clark. For his 10th strikeout of the game. Kerry's previous strikeout high was 9. On this day, the 20-year-old rookie from Irving, Texas was featuring a knee-buckling 12-6 curveball, a nasty slider, and a 98-mile-per-hour fastball.
The 0-2. Strike three called, another breaking ball. 10 strikeouts for Wood. First time in his career he's reached double digits.
Go to the top of the sixth. Shane Reynolds takes one down Broadway.
See you later. 12 strikeouts and 2 outs in the Houston sixth.
Well, Shane Reynolds says, I still have to pitch. There's no reason to hurt my hands on a swing.
Top of the seventh. The rain starts coming down in Wrigley. Future Hall of Famer Bagwell goes down swinging once again.
Off the inning, he's got good speed.
Got him! 13 strikeouts.
Well, it looked like Bagwell swung at ball 4. That was a fastball up. It looked out of the strike zone, but you don't have much chance to decide.
Jack Howell for number 14.
14.
Once you
and Moises Alou, number 15.
2 strikes. Did he go? Yes, he did. He strikes out the side again. He's punched out 15. As we go to the 7th inning stretch, here's Joe Montana with the Cubs leading 1-0.
Go to the top of the 8th. Mr. Dave Clark swings right through this one, right straight down Broadway for number 16.
Got him!
Boy, he pulled the string on Dave Clark, who was way out in front of it, and that doesn't seem fair. That is number 16, a rookie record for the Cubs. Dick Grottenberg.
Ricky Gutierrez, the owner, the only hit of the game. Misses one high and outside. Number 17.
The 0-2. Got him! He's tied the record!
You can see Tom clearly, he's not holding a sign because he's coordinating his troops and cheerleading. Wood strikes out Brad Ausmus to set the new Cubs strikeout record with 18 in only his 5th career start.
What can you say? 18 strikeouts. It's a new Cub record. And the first of many, I'm sure, that will fall for this young right-hander.
At the time of the game, Clemens had the major league strikeout record with 20 in a game. Twice he would do it a third time on August 25th, just 3 days after the game I attended. National League Carlton and Seaver and Cone, 19 Ks in a game respectively. Since then, Matt Scherzer had 20 while with the Nationals. So we go to the top of the 9th. Billy Spires comes in to pinch it for Shane Reynolds, who threw himself a whale of a game. 10 strikeouts. Complete game.
They're seeing something special here today.
Got him! He ties the National League record. Oh, Mr. Brickhouse, what do you think of this young man? Give us a call.
And here is the historic strikeout. Top of the ninth, 2 out. Mr. Derek Bell.
Didn't even coming close. Come on, number 20.
Here comes the hook. Got him! 20 strikeouts. He ties the Major League record. Unbelievable. Strikeouts for Kerry Wood.
He's got the National League record. He tied the Major League record. A one-hit shutout, 2-0 with 20 strikeouts and no walks. And how about that? Those of you lucky enough to have witnessed this on WGN have seen something you might not see again anytime soon.
Takes one. Swinging. Outside. Lower part of the plate. 4 times Kerry Wood struck out the side, including the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Bell, Bagwell, and Howell. You got them all. 9 out of 9. That's your heart of your order right there. It's amazing. Amazing historic pitching performance by Kerry Wood. Back to the game that my buddy Doug and I met Tom at. Unfortunately, Kerry had pitched the day before, so instead we got Don Wengert. For that reason, Tom was not doing the K thing, but we did get to see future Hall of Famer Randy Johnson for the Astros, which was exciting, who ended up pitching in a typical big unit dominant fashion, giving up only 2 hits, 7 innings, striking out 9, with Cowboy Joe West calling the balls and strikes. It should be noted that 3 years later, the big unit Johnson would also strike 20 out himself against the Reds. Also, Glenn Allen Hill was the Cubs' left fielder that day. Yes, the same Glenn Allen Hill that would hit the mammoth home run completely out of Wrigley, over Waveland Avenue, and onto the left field rooftops less than 2 years later.
The red shoes or the blue shoes better? Like that. I like the blue shoes better. Way out of here. Oh my gosh. He hit it on the roof. He hit it onto the roof across the street. I have never seen that. On top of the building. Even he admired that shot. It's gotta be the shoes, folks. It's gotta be the shoes. I am not
Being practically on top of the players and easily within earshot, the interaction that went on with the players was amazing, including Moises Alou, who was still 4 years away from being a Cub. For that reason, he was still regarded an enemy by the bleacher bums as he patrolled left field, with a style and grace and appreciation for the Cubs fans that was infectious, despite having epithets hurled at him by the left field rowdies. Plus, there were the chants directed to, believe it or not, fellow Cubs fans, such as, "Right field sucks! Right field sucks!" But between the chants, the stories, and the beverages, we had a great time among the 39,886 fans in attendance, despite the Cubs being smoked 8-3. Before we parted, Tom did say that he was a school teacher. Therefore, he had the privilege of being able to go to a lot of Cubs games during the summer and to look for him the next time we were in town, for which I did. The next summer of 99. And we picked up right where we had left as we witnessed Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire epic home run battles that saw both players break Roger Maris's storied 61 home run mark. It was a great season. This was the last time I would see my Wrigley Field buddy, as unfortunately I just didn't run into him at my subsequent visit to the ballpark. I guess it never occurred to us that we exchanged contact information, which I guess was too bad, but our friendship lived only in Wrigley Field. Maybe that was the understanding that we had. Kind of made sense. But maybe 9 years ago, or maybe, I don't know, I came across Tom's poster, or perhaps I had heard a mention of Kerry Wood's record-breaking performance and was feeling nostalgic. So I Googled Tom's name and came across, I Googled Tom, then K poster, Kerry Wood, I guess. And that was enough information to see an article from the Chicago Herald dated August 25th, 2007. So a lot of time had passed. And I was devastated when I saw the title. This is the article from the Chicago Daily Herald, posted August 25th of 2007 by Amy Mack, titled Loss of a Special Cub Fan Strikes Close to Home. Like many Chicago Cub fans, Tom Bujanowski of Fox River Grove harbored hope his team would one day win the World Series. But with that well-known near-century wait, he found a way to mark smaller successes. You have heard of him. He's the guy who marked Kerry Wood's 1998 20 strikeout gem against the Astros with proudly made Ks, the universal, if inexplicable, marker of strikeouts in baseball. He only had 16 designs with him, but fairly easily talked other bleacher fans into bearing and marking their chests with the final 4 strikeouts. It had been a treasured bleacher tradition, one often captured on camera. Those who knew him and now mourn him say the ache of loss is hard to capture. He was definitely someone special, said friend and fellow Cubs fan Brad Hovander, who met Tom at a Cubs game 6 years before his friend would be found dead on the train tracks in Fox River Grove a little more than a week ago. I've never met anyone like that in my life. He was almost dropped from the clouds, Brad said. Dropped from the clouds, straight from the left field bleachers, at Wrigley Field, that is. Everyone knew him out there, Brad said, whether on his own or sharing that love of the Cubs with a carload of kids. He was taken to the game, delivering gifts to stroke victims, coaching youngsters, teaching physical education classes, chatting with the neighbors. The father of 2 touched many lives before his death. Initially, Fox River Grove police at the scene had asked for the public's help to identify the man. It turned out many of their own already knew him. He was a very nice guy, said Police Chief Bob Holston, who quickly recognized the photo held by his officer. Whether sharing his passion for the Cub games with a game ticket, a ride, or the well-known Ks, which are now treasured keepsakes for many, this Cubs fan left a mark beyond the left field bleachers. His passing has sparked an outpouring of tributes both online and in person. Many noting the teacher's advice to his students: Carpe diem, seize the day. I don't think I have ever met a person with such class and respect for others, Brad said. He will truly. One silver lining, a very tiny consolation, was I had only known Tom by his first name. So, armed with more information and wanting to find out more about Tom's life and his death, I came across an obituary, which I guess saddened me more, as the reality of how, if he had deeply touched and made an impact on my life after only spending, which were only 5 precious hours with over a 2-year period, compared to how devastating his friends, family, students, all his loved ones must have felt. But the silver lining, that I was able to find a public blog that Tom's son Jake had posted to honor the life, times, and memory of his father, who had spread so much love, including to yours truly. I would read the blog in this forum, but actually, I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read the blog, but I will say it's amazing. I'll put a link to it. You can read it yourself. I'm going to give Jake that privacy to save it for you guys when you go to that blog to read it. It's amazing. I'm so glad Jake did this. It's appropriately called 20. It's called After 20, which was originally published in 2018. I did do a reply post of my memories of his day, of his dad, on his blog, very similar to what I've just mentioned in this video. So I'm not going to read that either. But I will read Jake's reply to my post. Rob, thank you for this, man. I can't express what it means to hear new stories about my dad, even all these years later. Everything about your recollections sounds spot on for Tom Bujanowski. On his headstone is the Jackie Robinson quote: "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." 17 years after my dad's passing, it brings a smile to my face whenever I reassured that he did, in fact, have a positive impact on the lives of others, even when he was only given a couple afternoons in the Wrigley Field bleachers to do so. All the best to you, and thanks again. God bless, Jake. Lastly, I did reach out to Jake via Facebook Messenger, letting him know about this video, but to date have not heard back. Jake, if you get a chance to see this video, I'm honored that you did, and I hope this video makes you smile how much your father meant to myself and so many people. Jake did update his blog about a couple years ago. The original case sign design is now available to be purchased as a shirt. So I'm going to put that update in the link as well. In closing, rest in peace, Tom. I know you're watching from heaven when the Cubs finally broke the curse of the Billy Goat to win their first World Series in over 100 years. And perhaps you're living your own field of dreams in heaven with Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, Ronnie Santo, and others that have passed. including the newest member to return home, Rhino. Make sure to like, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And consider subscribing if you have not already. Until next week, I'm the Commenting Collector. And as always, good collecting.
R1, R2, R3. Take me out to the